Today we're going to cover the basics of grinding and metal finishing in the context of building a found object sculpture. So when we're building found object sculptures, we're dealing with all different types of metal at all different stages of deterioration. So for today's demo, I've picked out a very rusty piece of square tubing, and it has quite a bit of rust on it. You can see that it's already flaking off. Rust is a problem because when we go to weld the piece, the ground will not be able to reach through the metal and we won't be able to strike an arc. So we need to remove rust from the piece, or at least where we're going to weld it. This piece of pipe is covered with paint. Paint, just like rust, keeps the ground from having an effect and deters our ability to strike an arc, so we'll be cleaning this one as well. This piece of pipe actually is fairly clean. What you're seeing on here is the mill scale, but on this cut edge we have a burr, and of course when we're making sculptures and encouraging people to touch them, we want to remove all the sharp edges and take those out of the way and smooth things out. And then we have another piece of square tubing that has suffered a horrible mistake here, and we're going to smooth that out and polish this up and make it look good. And then this one where we've had this torch cut line that are kind of rough, we're going to smooth those out and remove the rust. And I'm going to do that with a variety of grinding discs, and the first one you need to learn about is the rough grinding disc. This is an aluminum oxide abrasive. It is about a 40 grit. This is for removing lots and lots of material, and it leaves a rough mark. So for the most part, when we're doing the majority of rough grinding and heavy material removal, we'll be using this one. So I'm going to go ahead and start, and of course the most important thing when you're working with metal is to make sure that you have all the necessary safety gear. So I have my head covered, I have safety glasses that are OSHA approved, I have gloves on, and then with the grinders, most importantly, I have hearing protection. So we're going to put all that on, and I'll probably talk a little bit louder or softer. We'll have to regulate that. I'm going to start with this piece right here because this represents the most amount of material that I have to remove. Whenever I'm grinding a piece, I want to make sure that I have both hands on the grinder. So I'm going to use locking C-clamps to lock these pieces down to my work table. You never want to hold in one hand and grind in the other. It's just asking for less fingers. It's also asking for a lot of strain. For our grinder, what we're going to do is we're going to concentrate on using the leading edge of this and the belly of this to do most of our work. So if you're ready, here we go. There's one side, and of course you can see that we've got rough marks here, but that rust was so thick that we haven't even gotten through the majority of it. I took the gross amount off and then left the rest for our polishing later. This side represents a challenge because not only does it have heavy oxidation, but it also has burrs, so I'll be taking those off. I'm making sure to turn my piece. I don't want to have to grind sideways or upside down. You want to avoid doing the hokey pokey while you're grinding. Grind in front of yourself at waist level. Another important thing to point out about the grinder is that we want to be aware of what's around us because we are throwing sparks. So it'd be a bad idea to have a bucket of gasoline right next to me. Inside of the pieces sometimes becomes problematic because the grinder sometimes won't reach. In that case, we're going to have to go on to another lesson with a different set of tools. But for now, I think we can get this one so it works. And they say that the measure of a craftsman is by his clamp collection, and I do believe that. We definitely need a lot of different clamps for productive and efficient metalworking. Take your time, get your clamp right. Okay? Any questions? All right, my name's Holly Fisher. I'm with the Smartshop Metal Arts Center. I'm glad to be here, and I am proud to be teaching people about metalwork.